Hi, class. Now that we have finished reading the story Butterfly House, we are going to talk about the main events. What are the main events? Main events are things that the character do or things that happen in the story. So now we have this anchor chart right here on the board that says main events with the definition of it at the top of the anchor chart so that you can visually read it as we look at it, okay? And so you have to remember that anchor charts are visual representations of what we're talking about. So, as we said, what we also have here is the story map. So, with the story map and text, it comes from the story so that we will place basically all the events in the correct order. So on the story map, you should see how each box of the story map is numbered 1 through 5, where we can see the beginning, middle, and end. Let's look at the story. The text reads, "When I was just a little girl, I saw a small black creature like a tiny worm and saved it from a greedy jay who wanted it for lunch." Which we can look at and think about what we just read. We read this at the beginning of the story, and we know that the main character takes it home, causing us to find our main event in the story. Where would the story go in our story box? This text will go in the first box of our story map because it happened first. If we go back to the book, that's what it says at the beginning of the story. Let's go back to the story and find another text. We laid the larva carefully on thistle leaves inside an empty jar, put it in a twig for it to climb, then made a lid of soft white paper all stuck around with glue. We can think about and look at the story that after she got home from finding the larva, she showed her grandpa and he explained that he had one too when he was young. This is where they started the next step of taking care of the larva, showing the next main event of the story. This is another point that we find it. And so because we have read the story, we have to think about, did this happen first, second, third, or fourth? And so on. Doing so and making a story map like we did will help us find the main events in the story. Where you just list the points will let you describe the entire story without the details. The same way you saw how we found the main event point is the same way you will become thinkers and finders to identify and describe the main events of other stories to tell you what happened. So keep this in mind because each story is going to have a main event and different points. So while reading, you need to think, is this a beginning, middle, or end? Okay?